Hello YouTube viewers, this is Heliok here. Today I'm gonna talk about Google Cardboard, and for all of you who don't know, Google Cardboard is Google's attempt for VR. Now many of you are not familiar with VR and AR. Now here's the simple deal. Think of it this way. VR is virtual reality, AR is augmented reality. So what you have to understand about this is, think of it this way. You look around the world, you look in 3Ds with two eyes, and so you have a stereoscopic vision about the things, and you understand you can navigate in this world, you can move around, you can move your head, everything you can do. Now that's reality, since you can do everything. Virtual reality is the idea of doing all these things in a virtual reality, most likely a computer game, simulation, or things like that. And it's getting, it was there for a very long time. From 1990s it was there, but the graphics were almost useless, and nowadays it's getting seriously popular. Now AR is just that, having a virtual layout, but it's with a reality filter come in. Think of it this way. You've seen Iron Man, how he talks, that's augmented reality, that's not virtual reality. Virtual reality will not have anything coming from reality, so you have to understand that. Now in virtual reality, first and foremost, is much easier than augmented reality. In augmented reality you have two contenders. One is Google Glasses, which I am pretty sure is almost dead by now. Another is Microsoft HoloLens, which is yet to be announced. I'm not sure about the price. If I found it, I will put it here. But it's very big, and what it has is, like, same way we have CPU, GPU, it has a third sensor that is dedicated to analyzing the environment around you. So as you can see, AR is not gonna be cheap. It's not something that you can just buy, or it will make Android, a high-end Android, even Apple phones look cheap. Okay, so it's not something that you and I can easily do. It's not impossible, but it's too expensive. Now we talk to VR. VR has getting a lot of attention, especially because of Oculus Rift. Okay. Oculus Rift has become very popular because it was kickstarted, then Facebook bought it. So you can understand, Kickstarter already a big community, and Facebook as a community is, well, the biggest on earth. So because of that much attention, VR got serious focus. Now how Oculus Rift works is, it has a computer and it has a camera, like this camera, and what it does is tracks you. It gives you a giant mask in front of you. It has the screen, and camera uses it to track alignment, orientation, and things like that. So you can understand, it's a two-layer process, but it requires a computer. That's the biggest thing. It requires a computer, and a good one at that, because it has to render all those two frames basically, and in this case it will be 720p and 720p each eyes, left and right, and it has to do that minimum 60 frames per second. Minimum. This is not somewhere you can run with 30 frames. It has to do that 60 frames per second, and resolution is a helping factor since it's not full HD, but it's that's gonna come up very shortly. We are way ahead in LCD technology and LED technology, so resolution is not gonna be an issue. However, that graphics card that can handle that much yet to be created. So you see, so you have one Oculus Rift, and it's very popular, and developers are going into it. Now second contender is Sony. Sony has started also taking this way, and Sony has a lot of experience in gaming. So if you know, Sony had created the PlayStation, and it is very successful. So as a franchise, they know, as a company, they know how to make the hardware, and they have a lot of experience with optics and basically everything at this point in time. So Sony knows it. Now the third big contender, like this was a big one, is Samsung. And for all of you who don't know, Samsung is very big. What Samsung is doing is, like, if you buy a Galaxy S6 or Note 5, you can buy a headset that you will just put and you put your phone in. Now it makes your phone as a computer and screen display at the same time, so that's very efficient. The headset itself will cost only $99, provided you have the phone, which is very expensive. And what it's doing way differently compared to all these other, it has controls here in this side. You can easily see it has a touchpad, and instead of touchpad, on the left side they are giving a micro USB out, which can be used for controllers and other things. It's yet still in development process, but things are going very well. So now here's the deal. Where does Google fit in all this? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you VR Cardboard. So this is Google's attempts at all this. Now all those things I mentioned before, you must have noticed they are idiotically expensive. Like, that's not something that you can afford. I have an Android smartphone. This even doesn't cost more than $200. So most of you, the most popular phone range is like below 300, or 500 is like pushing it. 600, 700, very few people buy. So how does Google come at it is very interesting. So what they do is they created a headset, and all they did is standardize the lens, basically these puppies. They standardize this, how far these will be from this display, basically, which is the focal length and the radius, and basically every specification regarding this lens has been standardized. So you might wonder, okay, what does that have to do with? Think of it this way: all phones nowadays, except Apple, accepts micro USB. That helps a lot of people because they can create accessories, they can create everything they need, like chargers, plugins, OTG cables, because there is a standardization. They know it will work with other things. So that's Google's way of tackling this VR environment. And what they did is, like, as you can see, all they have is these two lenses. All they had to do is just standardize those two lenses, their position and placement. And as you can see, why this is so cheap? Well, it's cardboard. Seriously, this may look like plastic, but this is just cardboard, fancy cardboard, but it's just cardboard. Now, once you get the cardboard, the second issue becomes how you're gonna interface. As I told you, like Samsung comes with, in Samsung, this area there is a touchpad and there is a USB port here for connecting fancy stuff. This is version 2.0. In version 1.0, what they had is a magnet. You must have seen that in images. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Now, problem with that is, first of all, it adds another level of complexity because you have to source in the magnet. For mass production, that does matter. And the core concept with this is so cheap that you can just try it. You know, it's so cheap. It's less than a movie ticket cost, basically. Like in my country, it's like I can get 2 movie tickets on this IMAX movie ticket. So it's very cheap. That's the whole point with this. And they tried to make it as simple as possible. The earlier one came with almost like an envelope, and you have to open it up and assemble it. Like it would have been like 5-10 minutes of job, nothing fancy. What this fixes, version 2.0, is you no longer have NFC tag, which used to be here, is in version 0.0. So that reduces the cost. Second, they designed this to be much bigger, so it can accept bigger flaps, or phablet, basically, as it's called. Bigger one. This one phone I'm using is Lenovo Vive. It's actually 5.5-inch phone. So this can comfortably fit any phone bigger than this. It will still work, no issue there. And it's a cardboard, so it's a bit flexible on that terms. But I would say if you are expecting to put anything bigger than this, as you can see, there is not that much clearance. You can still go a bit bigger, but not too much. So you have to think about that before buying this. Like, is your phone ever gonna fit? Like, if you have Sony Z Ultra, it's not gonna work. So let it go. It's not gonna work. And how this works is, instead of that magnet which you used to move and it used to register, it didn't work with every phone. That's why it was not that popular. It has this button, and here's the funny thing: this is not actually a button. All it is a clamp. It moves this hinge here. And all this fancy mesh sort of thing you might be seeing is just a conductive material. It could be anything. It could be conductive foam, it could be electrical tape, it could be conductive tape, for all I know. What it does is just connects your electrical voltage to here. So many of you know our smartphone nowadays is capacitive rather than resistive. So it requires the electrical charge to operate. So this is gonna work. It's gonna work 100% of the time, because any smartphone which has a touchscreen most likely works. So it's gonna work, but you have to be realized that this travel is big. It's not, tuck tuck. It's not that responsive. So that's how Google fixes all this issue. They made something that is so cheap you can just buy and throw it away. It won't hurt your wallet, basically. And all it has is 2 lenses. Can you make it at home? Yes, it will be time consuming. I would suggest just buy it. And because it's standardized, so many companies are making it. There are many companies in India, in US, in basically every country that has Google support, except China. I'm not sure about China. Look out for that. You have a lot of companies making it. You can make it yourself. You can print it out. All you have to do is follow the specification of these. So everything else is changeable. So there are many plastic VRs. So let's say you bought this, it worked it out, and you are like, okay, awesome, bro, but I have to take this here, because it is a cardboard at the end of the day. It's not gonna last you for 2-3 years. It's months maybe, and if you use it regularly, I'm not even sure about that. So you want to buy a plastic one. Before you do that, please make sure that it works with a cardboard and you know all this shit. So once you do that, now question becomes, how do you gonna use it? Well, the simplest way is you put your phone, that's it. Please don't go outside looking like this, please don't. It will look dumb. Second, what you need is application for this. Google provides a very decent application for this. This is just starter application. It's not the end of the world. It's starter application. What you have to know is the QR code. Now make sure many dumb companies, they are launching version 2.0. Okay, it's printed in the bloody box is version 2.0, but the QR code will take you to version 1.0 firmware. So your player will be still looking for that magnetic click rather than this click. So this might be a headache for you. So there is that you have to fix, and QR code works from online. So what you have to type for is Google I/O 2015. That's version 2.0. If this one doesn't work, most likely it won't work if you buy this model. And what can you do with this sort of device? First is VR. VR gaming is not serious right now, and the biggest concern is because it doesn't have any inputs. So I told you, one click is not much. So there are games, but that are like, you use your head for moving, and it's autoplay basically. It's auto playing, and you can just look around and click at best. And as you can see, this clicking mechanism is not really that, cut. It's not a mouse click. So the moment Google standardize any sort of input like a mouse, Bluetooth mouse would be really awesome at this point, or anything that works inside the app, because the moment you I did that with mouse and all that, but it started to get out from that VR settings, so that's an issue. And you can use headphones, no problem, and that's the whole benefit of using cardboard. So like, let's say even if your cardboard has a flap here to cover any light leaks, all you have to do is punch a hole and you will get your headphone socket. So first thing first is it's good for VR. It's good for getting started. It's not as good as Oculus Rift, because first of all you have a full-fledged computer to run that simulation and higher frame rates and higher resolution. Second, it's much more refined at this point in time. Second, Google one, Samsung one is also better because it's a phone itself is a flagship, so processor and all that, and they optimized it. They have few hardwares to work with. They have much more control over it. Google, however, is a hit or miss. In some Nexus phone it's like whoa, and in some crappier phone it's like really. Like in this phone, it's having a lot of issue. It's shaking like this, and shake is there. It's not like my head is completely static, but the data is not basically filtered. It's introducing too much shake. You may get motion shake, and if you get motion shake, that's why I'm saying buy the cardboard one before you buy any plastic or do any serious investment. Make sure you are comfortable with the 3D, how it projects. Make sure you are comfortable with motion sickness, or don't get motion sickness in this scenario. All can you do with this phone? First is gaming, which I won't say is a serious gaming. Second, exhibits are really good. You can watch a 3D object and all you will be doing like this. So one is that. Second, you can look around the tours. Basically, Google is working on tours, which is basically Google Earth but in 360 degree. Another one is very popular and getting serious attention right now is 360 degree video. Basically, you put your headset and don't do that in public. This 360 videos is getting serious attention, and Google has shown how serious it is by introducing basically a film reel sort of thing, which accepts 16 GoPros, and it has their own computational metrics to make it into a seamless 360 degree video, which is 3D also, by the way. So 360 degree 3D, and it can go up to 4K. So it's ludicrously awesome, and it will feel, let's say you were watching a concert. It won't be like, okay, things is happening, you're locked to the camera angle. You can look around everything simultaneously. You can just look around and you can, everything you have, and good quality sound is already under construction. They want to introduce 3D sound right now, and with 3D sound and other stuff, once they come in, this will become a really good way to consume media. Another option for which I bought this was to watch 3D movies on my phone. Now here's the catch. Before you buy all this stuff, you have to know, can your phone handle this? So what are the criteria? Well, flagship, don't worry about it. If you have any phone that is lower than a flagship, you have to know that it might not give you the best experience, especially in VR, since it has to process all that thing here. So if you don't have Snapdragon 800, you have to know. And how so it's up to you. Second, for it, because of the how it's displaying, I will show you a small demo right now. If you download a 3D video from online or anything like that, it's much more difficult to play it in Google's own app. So I would recommend there's app AAA VR, which allows you to play from file basically, and it has a lot of settings. That's why I like this phone. This app, it has settings rather than you can adjust the screen size. Now once you start play, let it load. you can say this is how it's done. That's why you need screen bigger than full HD. So if you have a phone that is bigger than full HD, this is where it really comes in, because it has to first project 2 full images left and right. By default you half the resolution, and then also it can't project to the full border, because you won't be able to see. In VR you have to really push your head against. So if you have 1440p screen, or bigger than QHD, it's called, bigger than this is the moment where it will really shine. However, it will still will not go as close as having a movie theater like experience. It's very big, like it feels like 110 inches screen. Like size wise it's awesome, but the problem is, because it's so smalled out and it's enhanced by the lenses, you will see the bloody pixels. So that's the biggest concern. So if you have a high resolution screen, using VR as a 3D theater for yourself, personal theater, awesome, it will work. But be aware, at best you will only get 720p resolution, and that's at best. So I think I have covered enough topics and everything you need to know about Google VR. So I will give some links to some good apps that I have tested out and figured out. Right now, I would say it's a very good starting point, and Google is really working at it. Like as you see, even in Cardboard they launched a second version, so they are really working at it. 360-degree video is coming. That's the easiest way to enjoy this right now. Just have a 360-degree video, but the files are big, so you should be careful about that. So this was my in-depth review and detail about Google Cardboard. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, like. If you didn't like it, dislike it, and please subscribe. And thanks for watching.